Hey everyone, welcome to Marjy TV. We are sorry that we had that mishap earlier. Marshawn was all ready to go, and then technical difficulties happened. But just to tell you a little bit about our guest, if you're just joining us, Marshawn Evans Daniels. She is amazing. I mean, this woman, you get to know a little bit more about her as we get to talk. But hey, she went to Georgetown Law. She competed in beauty pageants and actually won. She is a best-selling author. I've got her books here. If you don't know about her books, Believe in Bigger. Believe Bigger is right here, and Believe in Bigger is the sequel to that. It's kind of like a journal. So hey, go on Amazon. This book is global. It's shipping everywhere. Buy her books, support her work. Today she's here to talk about health matters. Welcome to Marjy TV. I don't think I said that right. And my name is Marj. I'm a little bit off because the program kind of messed up in the beginning, but we will get that flow going. This is Humanity Chats with Marjy. We do this on Thursdays. We just get together, talk about everyday issues that impact humans. And before we get deep into the conversation, I guess Marshawn would tell us a little bit about herself.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. If you have no idea about the technical stuff we went through, don't worry about it. We're not worried about it. We're excited that you're here with us now. So I am a reinvention strategist. I help women upgrade their income, their influence, and also their walk with God. I am very passionate about helping women of faith to experience spiritual success and financial success through the playground and the world of business. And also, I have written, as Marjy said, 2 books, Believe Bigger, and then 100 Days of Believing Bigger, which is a devotional journal designed to help recalibrate us with the Holy Spirit. I'm passionate about those things, and I've also expanded my mission to help women step into the body that they believe they're supposed to have for the vision that they have for their life. Now, I am not a health expert. If you ask me about the phytonutrient impact in a fruit and how it's, I don't know all that. But I do think it is important, even for us as businesswomen, to begin to talk about our health journeys, things that are working well for us, so that we can all advance, not just in mind and strategy, but also as a vessel and as a temple, to be able to build and create. So excited about this conversation. I think it's going to be one of the most diverse conversations I've had, where we can talk about faith, we can talk about business, and we can talk about wellness all at the same time.
Yes, talking about faith, business, wellness. Thank you so much. Now, you want to tell us a fun fact about yourself. I've been watching some of your videos. I love your adorable babies, by the way. Can you share a fun fact with us?
Well, I was 40 when I found out I was pregnant with triplets. And what was interesting about the day I found out, I knew that my blood levels were higher than normal for a normal pregnancy test. And they said there was a probability that there could be multiple. So I always wanted twins. And when we go in to get the ultrasound tech says, "Good news, folks, you've got twins." And they turn the monitor screen and I'm like, "Oh my gosh," my husband's like, "Oh my gosh, we're so excited." And then they say, "Hold on, wait a minute, there's something there in the corner." And this was the second person who was shadowing the ultrasound tech. And then she goes, "Uh-oh, hold on, wait a minute." And then they turned the screen back around. And I was like, "What does that mean? What, don't you go to school for this? Like, why do you need to turn the screen back around?" And she goes, "Sir," to my husband, she goes, "Sir, you're going to need a minivan because you're having triplets." So that was the end of 2019. I delivered in 2020. 2020, for many, have described it as a, horrible year in time. For us, it was blessed. And it's not to discount that, but I do believe that miracles are still flowing every day. There's this dichotomy of challenge and struggle, but also blessing and miracles, and they're always existing at the same time. And so that happened for me in 2020 at the age of 40. Now I'm 41 as a new mom, figuring this thing out.
Well, Marshawn, you don't look a day over 30. And so, I don't know about what your plans are, but you might be able to try again and have more babies.
Hey, why not?
Well, it is so good to have you here. And I know that you've really been into talking how talking about how women can take care of their bodies. And during COVID-19, with everything else that's going on, you want to share with us what your strategy is and what you've been doing. I mean, you had a baby in 20, well, you had three babies in 2020. Yeah. And I had my last baby in 2003. I'm still working out to get my old body back. So share your secrets with us.
Well, so for me, I kind of will start, if you're okay with kind of talking a little bit about belief and how that to me feeds into, because as I said, health has never been the topic that I speak on. I'm known for teaching business. I'm known for teaching success. I'm known for teaching the word of God and also teaching how those principles come together to really recalibrate our thoughts. So I firmly believe in the power of belief. The Bible says, well, Jesus said that he could do no miracles because the people had no belief, right? So if you're building a dream or a vision, a business, a ministry, if there's something that you desire to do, there has to be belief for it, right? In order to have the help and the resources of heaven. But if you had the help and resources of heaven, why would you not use that? Why would you not access all that God has? And we demagnetize what God is sending. We actually send it back when we operate in doubt about the circumstances, doubt about ourselves, doubt about our worthiness. But there's a subtle form of doubt that we don't often talk about as business owners at any level, whether you're aspiring or established. We don't talk about the doubt of, will I have the energy to do this? Right? Will I have the fatigue? Is fatigue going to be an issue? In my business coaching company that I started in 2010, I started this business because I needed to pay my bills. It wasn't this journey to try to figure out how to help women, honestly. And well, kind of was. I didn't have that narrow of a focus yet. And it wasn't because I was trying to go live my purpose. I found out that my fiance was cheating on me 6 days before my wedding. And that was a rock bottom, devastating moment of betrayal that also impacted me financially. I didn't know I was going to pay my bills. So, this is, for me, this was the journey of really learning, not just belief, but really what does it mean to believe bigger when you're in the middle of devastation. That's where you really learn how to believe. And one of the questions I'm talking about, these subconscious thoughts, that's like, okay, I'm believing in you, God, but how did I end up here? What's wrong with me? How did I attract this person? At the time, health was not even on my radar, and understanding how belief comes into this, because I was always a fairly slender person. I was an athlete. I was a competitive baton twirler growing up, competed internationally. I'm actually legally blind in my left eye. A lot of people don't know that. So for me to compete, to be international two baton champion, to be the feature twirler at TCU, a lot of people would have never known that about me. I never saw myself as having a disability. So I didn't talk about it that way, even though I now look back and realize that that was just a miracle that I had the ability to do some of those things. So that didn't come to my mind. But what did come to my mind was, how did this happen to me? How did I end up here? And then when you start to hear glimpses of God saying, here's what you're going to do next in your future, all of the doubts start coming up. Am I good enough? Well, if I was great, then why did you let this happen to me? Why did you let betrayal come into my life? So that's kind of where I started to go through a journey of understanding how God uses disruption, how he uses disappointment to stretch our belief about ourselves, but also to teach us what we don't believe to be true about ourselves, what we don't feel we're good enough, where we feel unqualified at the same time. And it was through wrestling with that I had my first event November 20th and 21st, 2010. I charged $1,497 for my first workshop. And again, it wasn't from this big altruistic vision to try to change the lives of other people in this big, supernatural, I'm going to live my purpose way. It was, I needed to learn how to pay my bills because I had closed my sports agency down for this relationship that now doesn't exist. And I didn't have a plan B. So, and that story is really outlined in the book, Believe Bigger. So on the other side of that, I can now say after over a decade, well, within the first 2 years, we crossed into, by year two, around 2.5, we crossed over the $1 million mark in terms of revenue. And it just hitting that $1 million mark kept getting shorter and shorter and shorter in terms of time. So what used to take a year then took 3 months. What used to take 3 months then took a day. What used to take a day took an hour to get to that same revenue amount. And all of these things were great. And in 2016, 2014, I heard God told me that this event that I used to do called Speak for Pay was going to be the last one. And I thought he just wanted me to rest for a little bit, maybe shift focus to do something bigger and better. And then my husband noticed at that live event, we launched it in December 2014. It's taking place in the spring of 2015. This is the day we do $2 million in revenue in one day, in an hour. And I'm still telling everybody this still will be the last event because that's what the Holy Spirit said. They said, no, you're just saying that to market so that we'll buy more. I was like, I don't play when I say the Holy Spirit said. I'm serious. Like, this is what he said. I didn't know why I needed a break. And we're at the event and my husband asked me, why are you out of breath? I was like, I'm not out of breath. He goes, yes, you are. You're breathing hard. You just went up a short flight of stairs. Why are you out of breath? And he noticed it regularly. So once that event was over, we brought in this mastermind class. We worked with them for a year and we graduated them in 2016. And I had the hardest time stopping what I had started because my business mind and my building capacity, I'm an intense, ambitious achiever. So the idea of stopping feels foreign. The idea of resting is not natural for me in terms of how I'm naturally. I won't know if it's how I'm wired because I believe when we're wired from heaven, we're actually wired for rest. But I think the way I was trained was more as a Martha versus a Mary. So once I released that group, I remembered I started hearing all about fibroids. And all of these women, Black women that I knew were having fibroid procedures and surgeries and trying to figure out what to do. And I was like, wow, that's a big problem. And it's really impacting Black women. And I was like, that has nothing to do with me because all the symptoms didn't show for me, right? You have that pooch in your tummy that won't go away. Maybe you have heavy bleeding, painful periods, a lot of cramping, sore to touch. Like there's all these symptoms and I had none of them. And one day I heard this beautiful lady, her name is Jessie Thompson, Coach Jessie, Gessie. She's a dear, dear friend of mine now. Heard her talking about her story of fibroids and having 14 surgeries, her fertility journey. And I was watching it on the old school app that some of y'all might remember, Periscope. My husband was out of town and I don't know why I just cried listening to her. And I was like, her story is not mine. I have no idea why I keep hearing all of this. But one of the things she said when I listened to a training she did about fibroids, and here, I don't even know why I'm listening to this. I don't have this issue. Why am I listening to this? She said one of the symptoms was shortness of breath. Now, I never saw that in anything. So when I went to my OBGYN, I asked them to do a check proactively for fibroids because my general practitioner didn't find anything. Said everything was normal. And it turns out they immediately take me into, I'll tell the story in detail later, but it turns out I had a fibroid that was larger than the size of my whole womb. And it was towards my back, towards my spine, so it didn't show in the front. I had 8-pack of abs, so I didn't have any of the signs, but it was still there, and it was the Holy Spirit that showed me and took me step by step to a person that I didn't even understand why I was drawn to, why I was hearing this around me to pay attention to it. So that was really the beginning of my health journey, of awareness, I should say, of my health journey that came out of a business pause, basically, where God said, you're going to stop your business, pause your business. And it was through then that I became a vegan for a while. I'm not vegan now. But also all of that to me led up to now being able to say I'm a mother of triplets. And a lot of it was preparing my body. So now what I teach for business women, in addition to teaching how to be rich, famous, successful, prosperous, structured, organized, business, branding, marketing, sales, all the things that I believe are necessary to be successful. In addition to that, I now also believe that we have to prepare our bodies for what we're praying for. And that's what is the next dimension of supernatural success in any dream that you have. Many of us are first generation with the opportunity to create wealth. We're also usually starting a little bit later because of all the things that we accomplished or did. Maybe you're just having kids for the first time or just coming out of a career, lifetime career, and you feel like, you know, I have women that are in my programs that are in their 50s and 60s. I've had someone, the eldest in my program was 75. So the youngest that year was 23 and the eldest was 75. They both came into the program at the same time. So whether you're 23 or whether you're in your 70s, we have this little whisper that comes back. And this time it's not the whisper of, why did this happen to me? It may be the whisper of, am I too young or am I too old? Do I have a body that can actually take me into the vision that I have? So I do believe that this new belief battle, especially for us, and depending on, and then because there's so many different issues with health right now because of our toxic food, the environments, chemicals, that we have to be intentional about recognizing that we have a God that loves us, but he put us in an earth and we haven't taken great care of it. We have chosen to create toxic chemicals that we put on our hair and our bodies and clean our homes with, and it has an impact. So could we do some things so that we don't necessarily have to pray for deliverance from a health ailment? Are there things that we can actually prevent and participate with God in that way? So I know that's a long framing of it, but that's how I came into this space. Again, I don't really even have a desire to be an expert. There are people who are graced and gifted to really talk about the body, but I've learned a lot, particularly about a few things that we can do to prepare ourselves. And I can do what I can with what I know by sharing that.
Wonderful, wonderful. It's amazing to hear your story and how you eventually got to where you are. It's also inspiring to hear. I hear some feedback and I don't know what it is.
I hear
It's also inspiring to hear that you have been able to turn ideas into income. And so we're not just talking about health as in our physical health. We're also talking about financial health. That's something that you've been able to achieve, and I applaud you for that. And also for you to be a woman of God and to work based on faith. That is amazing. Now, about your health journey. Thanks for sharing about those fibroids. I know that firsthand because I have had to have fibroid surgeries, and it's affected my whole fertility plan. And so I know about that pain of a fibroid. Do you mind sharing with us how that health journey has taken shape and how it's impacted your life now and what you're doing to better your health?
Sure. It sounds like something now the tech monsters are coming for your stuff when you're talking. There's feedback. Well, we're going to push through it. So when I found out, I remember the day that I saw the actual ultrasound picture of the fibroid, and I just kind of stared at it. And I'm like, what are you doing here? And my perfectionism was like, there's a combination. I was like, you don't belong here. It's time for you to go. So I was like, I'm going to go on a quest to figure this out. There is a part of, the health journey that is necessary for you to understand what's happening in your body and not to be, you cannot delegate to doctors your health. They are participants. They are not captains. It's a really important thing to even write down. They are participants. They're not captains. You're still the steward of your body. And you also have to have that approach so that you don't just take what you're told, because our medical profession in America is not geared around prevention. The practice of medicine is the practice of utilizing medicine and surgical tools and procedures that help alleviate symptoms. If you think about when you're in a hospital, even the food can make you sick because it's high in sodium. Like, it's not designed, the system is not designed it's not built around prevention. When it comes to holistic and natural methods of things like vitamins, supplements, foods, usually there's less intensity of education a doctor will say, go talk to a dietitian. I talked to dietitians, and they did not have like almost no one had an understanding of what would cause fibroids, because they said, we don't know. And there's no evidence around that. And that's just my view of that, is that that's not true. I listened to Coach Jessie and some of the women that she helped, and they were naturally eliminating their fibroids. And if you do research, you can find thousands of women, maybe more, who have done the same thing, because fibroids is called by a condition called estrogen dominance. And a lot of the things in our food has high estrogen in it and can contribute to that. A lot of the things that we eat, like soy, was really big for a number of years. Soy milk, soybeans, soy this, soy that. It was a plant-based alternative, but that level of soy was not helpful for Black women in particular, especially because we have a higher rate of estrogen dominance where it impacts our fertility. And then I thought about it, and I was like, thought about my mama and her sisters and all of the Black women who came before me who had hysterectomies. Why were they having why was it so commonly recommended for Black women? Why was it so prevalent in our community? And when I would ask my white girlfriends, they did not talk about it. Not that they didn't have hysterectomies, and white women are women, we have the same body parts. But genetically, there are some differences. Like when you look at a chart, a medical chart of like what's normal BMI and what's normal blood test, normal this and that, those standards are not based off of being an Asian woman or a Black woman or a Mexican Latino woman or someone from another continent. They're based off of being a white woman or a white male in America. What's normal for that? And I didn't think that mattered. Now, again, I'm not giving formal medical advice. There are people who are going to dispute this, which is cool. But I remember going into my doctor once and telling her I had tingling in my legs and in my legs. And it was happening while I was in the doctor's office. And she goes, well, it seems fine. You're standing. I don't understand what the problem is. I work with these two naturopathic doctors, and I do bring them my blood tests. And from looking at the blood results, they said, have you ever had tingling in your legs before? I didn't tell them this. It had been almost a year or more since that had even happened. It wasn't even on my mind. But they could tell just from looking at that. And that's where I realized that there is not just one dimension of health. The medical profession is an amazing profession. There are people that are gifted, called, and skilled in that space, but they're not the captains. They're not the only captains. Yeah, we need to listen to science, but there is a science in a fruit. There are science in plants as well that the medical community hasn't spent, and it's not funded. It's not designed for that. So what's my point? My point is, and I don't even actually remember your question. Oh, you said the fertility during fibroid. I did end up having a fibroid surgery, but first I went through a whole holistic and natural route. I lost a little too much weight because of the fully vegan diet. It wasn't optimal for me being able to conceive. I needed to have some fat. And my weight had gotten too low. So I couldn't also, and I want to say this very clearly, I couldn't also make the naturopathic vegan people the captain. That was not healthy for my body either. So it wasn't an all or nothing. And it's important that you never let anybody be the captain of the ship of your body, right? Listening. And for me, what worked was a blended approach. Listening to my doctors, gleaning what I could around food, nutrition. So that's kind of been my approach. And I'll fast forward to today. So post having the triplets, I started feeling like my joints were sore, especially on my left side here. And I was nervous because I'm like, the babies are less than 3 months and my body is aching. How am I? Remember I said earlier, we have this little doubt whisper where it's like, am I going to have the longevity for this? I wasn't having that question in business at the moment. I was having this as a mom. Like, I just got started. God, am I going to be able to be a mom? Like, that's what this Proverbs 31's woman prayer was. God, I need something. Like, why am I supposed to go to physical therapy? I mean, COVID is happening. What's going on with my body and my knees? I couldn't get up and down while holding the babies, holding one, much less two at the same time. And so my prayer was, I was praying for my body, and I was talking with a girlfriend of mine who had her third child at the age of 50. She started in her early 40s. had her third child at the age of 50. Now she's coming up on 53. And she's like, my fear is, how am I going to be here for my kids? You know, my body feels like it's breaking down. So I know the two of us are not alone in this journey. We got big vision. We've got kids. We've got things we want to build, establish, legacy we want to create, income we want to generate. But still the little doubt whisper. And the Bible talks about this in James and talking about having a double mind. I'm believing you, God, for this, but I don't have confidence in my body. So that's the prayer that kind of brought me into this season now, where I learned about collagen. So collagen is the most dominant protein in our body. Our bodies are basically made out of collagen. It's what holds our skin, our organs, our nails, our teeth, our gums, everything together is really held together by collagen. And I did not know that our bodies were primarily collagen. I thought collagen was what my white girlfriends used to get lip injections so they could be plump like us. And turns out it's not just for that. You don't just take that kind of collagen is us. So I started taking collagen supplements, liquid collagen, the highest grade in the world. I have no issues in terms of the discomfort I had in my joints. And I feel like I'm aging backwards. I have the best skin I've ever had in my life. My gut is, I've never taken a probiotic before. My gut is healthy, meaning I go regular, which is great. But the probiotic is really important when you have a strong supplement regimen, because it makes sure that your supplements get to your organs faster. And the last thing I want to say, because I know there are a lot of people who take powdered collagen, and powdered collagen can get you some good results. Some people experience good things with that, but it absorbs at 30%, whereas liquid absorbs at 90 to 100%. And the collagen that I was able to get my hands on is the highest grade of liquid collagen in the world. It has 7 international patents on it. It had such a great impact on me that I decided to turn that into another business so that I could properly educate women who were emailing me and still email me. I get dozens of emails every day. Will you pray for my body? Will you pray for my womb? Will you pray for the surgery I'm about to go through? Women, I don't know. And I will do that. I will always do that. But why can't, in business, I don't want someone to pray for a financial breakthrough when I can be an answer through wisdom or through a check. Why wouldn't I want to be able to provide a solution? So I went into adding this to my business portfolio because I said I want to actually be and bring a solution. I walk this earth as a walking solution. That is my intention in life. I want to raise my girls in the same way. We can pray for people. We've been conditioned to only pray, but Jesus was a provider. And if we're created in his image, we're supposed to also provide. It doesn't mean that we control, but what can we contribute to helping somebody also operate in prevention? And so I have like what I call my favorite 5 supplements, but hopefully that gives you some context. And if you want, I'm happy to share those with you also.
Wow. Now, if people want to learn more about you, about your platform, how do they do that?
Okay, good. I'm unmuted. So a couple of things. So you can connect with me at marshawn.com. If you click a button that says start here, you'll get a free life class with me. And then if you're interested in the supplements, I'll just show them to you really quickly. So I take 5 supplements every single day, and I am passionate about educating Black women around the importance of supplements. You always want to talk to your doctor about it. You always want to talk to whoever you're working with on your health journey and your plan. But even before I share these with you, I want to challenge the audience in this way by asking you a question. Do you have a vision for your body? Right? The Bible says we have not because we ask not. It's hard to ask for something that you cannot see. The Bible also says that without a vision, the people perish. And what that means in another translation is they stumble all over themselves. Are you just jumping around, stumbling between different things because there's a lack of a vision? So I had a vision. I said, I see myself being 85, 95, and fabulous and enjoying my daughters who would be my age at that time. So what can I do now? I do take a prenatal vitamin still. I do take a vitamin iron and a vitamin D3. I take those. I've always taken those, but I was still having the issues. So when I found collagen, this is what I take every day. So I take skin collagen in the morning, It's a high-grade liquid collagen. And I didn't take it this morning, so I'm going to take it with you now. And many of you who do powder, you're mixing it with your coffee or a smoothie. The problem with that, ladies and gents, is that your body has to work harder to break all of that down. You got to get through the fruit and the milk and all those. This goes straight to the bloodstream, and it's liquid. I take 1 tablespoon a day. It's sweet, and I'm busy, and I'm done. Right? So that helps with my skin, hair, and nails. And I feel like I have the best skin that I've had. I used to have acne, really bad acne. So when people compliment me on my skin, I'm like, me? I never got that. The second thing I take every morning is this fat burning pudding. It's called Trim. And I take this every day, and it helps me with fat blocking. For me, just losing extra skin and weight post-pregnancy. But it has clinical strength conjugated linoleic acid. I just finished my chocolate, so this is my second day taking coconut lime. I wish you could taste it. It tastes really good, Marjy. But I also like that I like my supplements. I don't like missing it because they actually taste great. Most are sugar-free. And I don't know if I don't have scissors if I'll get into this one. But this is my probiotic. So probiotics are really important for us to include in our health regimen because, again, it keeps the gut clean. Your gut is the brain of your body. If your gut isn't intact, then, or helping you, if you have problems with constipation or digestive issues, it's possible. I'm not going to diagnose anyone, but it's something you want to look into. Probiotics help the healthy bacteria in your gut optimize. So this one is like a pixie stick. I didn't use my scissors, so it looks kind of messy, but I take that. That is my primary morning regimen. And then at night, I take Life. This collagen helps with my joints and cardiovascular. So heart disease is a big issue in the Black community, like massive. And if you think about the women, especially after a certain age, we start talking about our body and aches and rotator cuffs and joints. And then we think about our grandmothers, and we just said people were old. We didn't know that it was the lack of collagen production. So after the age of 25-ish, you start losing collagen, and your body cannot reproduce it without some kind of a stimulant. And a lot of the collagen that people are taking right now, the powdered stuff, is an inferior grade in terms of source. It's sourced, and the sourcing is very important. It's sourced from animal carcasses, body parts, hooves, and it's touching the bloodstream. So there's a possibility of disease and infection of passing through to the collagen that you're taking. So what I like about these is that it's the highest grade, super clean sourcing. And I've invited a team of women. We call ourselves Team Godfidence. And we are a team of women in the United States, Canada. We have team members in Canada, Australia, and throughout the UK, from Italy, France, different countries within the UK, and that all are passionate about living well, and well, I should say wellness and clean living. And so these are some of the things that I do. For me, I had the best reading I've had in 15 years on December 31st, 2020, at the age of 41. Now, I was doing all the same things that I learned in terms of my diet, my other supplements that I would take. But the biggest change that happened for me the 2 months prior to that was that I added liquid collagen into my regimen. And so if people are interested in that, they can go to marshawn.com/shop with me. You can also connect with me. You have to go to shop with me, or you can connect with me on Instagram, and I can help you figure out which products are great for you. We have a wonderful team of women who have decided to build a business. And, this was the great blend for me because I started one woman. Like, if there is something that's good, why wouldn't we want to also, I say, what's better than collagen, but collagen and cash flow together, right? So for me, I have a very successful company. I didn't need to start something new. But I was thinking about when I was in the hospital, this will be my last story. And there was a woman who had twins who were in the NICU. Her babies had been in there way before mine got there, and they were there after we left because they were born severe preemie. Mine were only in the NICU for less than 24 hours. Hers had been there for months. And I remember her coming back and forth, and we would see her when we would come for our visitation time. And I remember her coming from work with this backpack on, and she couldn't come as much as she wanted because she had to work. And I could come whenever I wanted because I had a home-based business. I determined what I make, when I make it. No, I am my own boss. So I thought about, wow, I teach speakers and coaches, but maybe she doesn't want to be a speaker and coach. Is there another business that I could help her with, or someone like her? And that's one of the reasons why I turned this also into a business opportunity for other women, similar to how Madam CJ Walker created this great hair product. Now, I didn't create the product, but I'm a master when it comes to sales and coaching and teaching other women how to get into business through sales, retail, e-commerce, where they don't have to deal with all the startup costs and issues of that, but can get coaching from me for free every month, and then also utilize that to build an income that is recession proof at home and from their phone, while also educating other women about clean living and wellness. And so that is my regimen. That is one of the things that when I talk about faith in business in the morning, I do my regimen like I'm doing with you every single morning. Last thing I do is I take a tablet called Optimize. I know people are like, she does all of it. I do this every day. I add this to my water, and then I just keep it going. So for me, this is how I also build my business, is by taking care of my body, making sure I have the energy, that I am producing things that help me to age backwards, to be youthful. I have got to have a healthy thinking. So I spend the mornings in my devotional and my Bible with God. And then I tell myself an affirmation, and then I go into my day for my girls, my family, for my clients, and for my future. And then I end the day with my last collagen supplement, my life. I go to bed and I get ready for miracles the next day all over again. So I hope that helps. I know that was a lot to talk about, but I'm happy to share. I think it's so important as Black women, as women of color, whatever your ethnicity is. This is not race specific, but I do know that if I, as a Black woman, I'm pretty educated, I didn't know how important this was for us, then maybe there's others that don't as well. And if there's a woman that doesn't have to be lost on my watch, then I'm going to do what I can to help make sure she knows that there may be something else that she wants to try. And so feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to share and help you on your journey too.
Well, now I have two questions for you. The first question is, did you work with doctors and chemists to create this line? And then the second question, which you would answer after, is I'm trying to find out if Team Godfidence helps distribute the products.
I did not create these products. I did not do the formulation, but a woman of color did. Her name is Ashma, and the company is actually run by her. It's one of the fastest growing top 50 companies in the United States. And so I've aligned with them, and I built a sales team. So when I say similar to Madam CJ Walker, she was the first Black female millionaire in America. She created a hair product line. But in order to get that out to more people, she decided she also wanted to empower women to start their own businesses by giving them an independent ability to distribute that. So that's what we do as Team Confidence. For women who are passionate about clean living, you don't have to be an expert. I'm not. I've learned to talk about collagen. I've learned that, and we have a variety of other things that I haven't even mentioned around gut health. There's a new product that's releasing today that I can't wait to hear more about. Sleep health. People who have issues with digestion. We have collagen for horses and pets as well, because a lot of pets, you notice people say, oh, they're just old. That's why they're kind of walking slow and their joints. We have that for them too. So I did not formulate this, but this is the highest grade collagen in the world. So when I started coaching in 2010, I said I wanted to be the Rolls Royce of coaching. I wanted to operate at the top with the very best. What I know about product creation, especially something that takes a lot of science and testing, there's a lot of money that goes into that. For me, I know I'm good at sales and I'm a master at coaching. I'm a master at both. And I look at this as an opportunity to, it really wasn't about me. I like to educate, but I wanted to empower women like Madam CJ Walker did to be able to, one, clean up their own home and their environment, feel great about their future, and then also to help them to generate an income as well too. And so our ladies on Team Godfins do distribute. They get coaching from me every single week, and they're making a daily income at twice a day. The company pays out twice a day, a daily pay every day, twice a day. So for a lot of people, that is life changing. I love instant gratification when it comes to income. If you make a sale before 6, if someone says, oh yeah, I want that before 6, you're going to get a commission at 6 after 6 p.m. If you make it after 6 p.m., 6 a.m. the next day, you're having a text message that says you just received your income payment for your commission. So I am able to still use my brain where my gifts reside, and educate, talk, help women to start their own businesses, and help women to live healthy lives. What I love are the messages that I get where women are saying, I just got pregnant, or I'm feeling better, or my husband is noticing my skin, or I don't have the joint discomfort, or my blood pressure is going down, or my body is like, one of the ladies who joined us, she was an event planner at a church I used to go to. We have a really strong community at this church that we used to go to in DC. So that's been almost 20 years since I was there. And she was like, I started the trim. In 4 days, she's like, I'm melting away. Like, it's melting. I'm melting away. My fat is melting away. Has clinical strength CLA, conjugated linoleic acid. And she goes, is there an opportunity for me to share this with other people? And also, can I earn an income from that? And I was like, sure, if you want. But a lot of people start out as customers. They love it. They start telling people about it. They can get a little bit of a kickback in terms of $10, or they could turn it into an extra business that fits into something else that they do as well. If 2020 didn't teach a woman anything, it was that she needs to have multiple income streams, and that the only thing that is safe is that you bet on yourself, and that you create the income that you desire with things that you believe in and are passionate about, and that you also see the wave of not just the future, but now. How much did you buy online last year? And were you selling online at the same rate that you were buying online? If you're buying more than you're selling, then you are not someone who's positioned for the wealth of the wicked to be transferred to the righteous. You are contributing to that wealth transfer to happen to somebody else who's prepared to receive it because they're selling online. And that's what I wanted to help women to do, and men too.
Well, thanks for empowering women to earn additional income. I have another question though. Have you had any negative feedback or positive feedback in the long term from people? I know it's been positive for you, but are there reviews out there? How long has the product been on the market? I'm asking this because someone may be watching and may be interested in buying the product, but may want additional information. How long has the product been on the market, and have there been any negative or positive long-term reviews?
That's a great question. I think that everyone's body is different. So someone can do great on a vitamin and someone else won't. It's the same thing with anything that we take. So I believe it's important. My job is to educate. I don't sell anything. I don't believe in actual selling somebody on anything. I believe in sharing my experience, but it's really not about my experience or my body. It is the thousands of testimonials and results of other people as well. So for those who are interested, again, if you go to marshawn.com/shop with me, you can see the array of items. I do believe that when you do hear about things like this, that you should invest and purchase with people who educated on it, because this is how we also support Black women versus just going generally to the site or generally to Google or somewhere else and purchasing it outside of there. I think this is one of the ways that we disempower Black women in business. Thank you for posting the link. You're so sweet to do that. But there will always be someone who doesn't have a good reaction to something, and you should educate yourself about that. You should read about that. You should. And the other thing I like about this company is that there's a open bottle return policy. So if it doesn't work for you, you can get that back. I educate my customers a lot based off of the ingredients so that they can look at those things first, if they feel confident about it. I am not a doctor. I don't prescribe nothing, anything. And so just the way that you can go to a vitamin shop and look for supplements, you may ask the person who's out there, you say, I've got an issue with energy, or I need vitamin D. They're going to say, well, here's the vitamin D section. If you say you've got an issue with weight loss, then I'm going to tell you about Trim and our Lane Body System. If you say you've got an issue with joints, then I'm going to point you to the section. It just happens to be online that deals with joint health, which is going to be our Life Collagen. Now, if you're pregnant or nursing, I'm going to refer you to another one that's called Pure. That's safer for women who are pregnant and nursing, or if you have a pre-existing medical condition. I'm going to refer you to those. But who's the captain of YOU? You're the captain of YOU. You take a look. You ask your doctor. You be a responsible steward. Don't rely on anybody just to tell you. I don't even, with my mom, I handle a lot of stuff for my mom. When she gets a new medication that's prescribed, I don't actually even just listen to the doctor who prescribed it. I ask all of the other doctors, even though the general practitioner has said it's good. I go and I individually ask all the other doctors if they've heard of anything that would be a potential conflict. I go online, I look at it, I look at the reviews. I ask also my friends who are in the naturopathic world and friends that are in the medical space, what do they think about it? And then I'm like, you know what? I've heard some negative things about this, even though it's technically safe. I've heard this is an alternative. Is that something that maybe we could try instead? Almost every time they're like, yeah, that one would be fine too. And it has less negative reviews. So you still got to be the CEO of YOU. I think what you're asking is a powerful question. Don't rely upon me. I am not an expert in this. I'm just a participant in a health journey, inviting others to join and offering what I have based off of what is available to me that I believe in. And you should do the same thing with your journey too.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I'm amazed at the wealth of knowledge that you have. I am impressed. I will go to Marshawn.com and look up all the additional information. Now, for the team Godfidence, do they also reach out to you by going to Marshawn.com, shop with me?
Oh, if you're interested in joining our squad, as we like to say, you can just email help@teamgodfidence.com. Help, HELP, @teamgodfidence.com, and my team can walk you through the business model. I think it's important that you know what you're getting into. I think it's a beautiful structure. I love that, again, the women get daily pay every day, twice a day, and that it's really literally a business in a box. So if that is of interest to you, you can email us at help@teamgodfidence.com and we'll walk you through that process. You can get started in less than 24 hours. I say, look, if you heard about this today, before the clock strikes midnight, you can have your own global e-commerce business in the wellness and clean living space. And you'll get coached by me and my team. It's actually help, HELP, help@teamgodfidence.com, help@teamgodfidence.com. And so, yeah, of course, I appreciate you asking. This has been such a delightful interview. We've talked about faith. We've talked about infidelity. We've talked about fibroids. We've talked about babies. We've talked about liquid collagen and taking care of yourself. And all of this good stuff explains to me why we had some technical difficulties earlier, an attempt to block a message from going forth.
Well, do I have it right? Help@teamgodfidence.com? Well, for women, men, anybody who is watching, this is Marshawn Evans Daniels. She has started several businesses, tried, tested, and true. She is the author of 2 great books. And, I was asking her questions about reviews. She has some amazing reviews out there on Amazon, Goodreads. Check her out. And now this is an initiative that she is part of. So go to Marshawn.com, learn more about Marshawn, go to shop with me, look at the products that are available on there. And if you are interested in joining her team, that is the email, help at teamgodfidence.com. Now, for our podcast listeners, I'm going to spell that for you. Help, HELP, at teamgodfidence, which is TEAMGOD as in dog, FIDENCE.com. So look her up. Educate yourself now. This is Humanity Chats. You guys know Marjy. I don't have any medical background, so I cannot say that, okay, the collagen and you could tell my science wasn't that great. I can't even remember some of these things. But what I know is that Marshawn has had businesses. She's also empowered women to turn their ideas into income. And so go check her out, learn for yourself. And she is telling us, you are the captain of YOU. That's the first time I'm hearing that. I'm the captain of, me, ME. You are YOU. And so she's telling you that she is not trying to impose on you and tell you that you should definitely take this. Educate yourself, learn about it, and make an informed decision. Thank you so much to Marshawn for joining us. She is an impressive lady. Learn about her. We did a blog on her on marjymarj.com/blog. It tells you about her experience, her being blind in one eye. She's accomplished some great things, being on The Apprentice, being a project manager of an all-women team that won, participating in Miss America, winning some awards there. She has the voice to speak up for others, and she keeps on encouraging, motivating, elevating, inspiring as a woman of God. We are honored to have her here, and at this time, we would ask for any words of wisdom that she would like to share before we wrap up the program.
Sure. I think just in closing, I believe what is written in the Word, which says that all things are possible to him who believes, and especially to her who believes. I added the her part. And, I've been teaching through Believe Bigger a concept that is what you believe, you build, what you doubt, you delay. And whatever it is that you're believing for, God believes it for you too. The Bible says in Psalms 37:4 that he gives us the desires of our heart. So the desire you have is also, I believe, God's desire for you. And that it's a time and a season to stop delaying, to stop doubting. And doubt is actually an attack against yourself. Why would we do that to ourselves when we are created in the image of the Most High God for the purpose of creating the way he creates? But if Jesus could perform no miracles because of lack of belief, what is it that we haven't created an environment inside of ourselves for Christ to work through us because of the doubt that we have residing within us? So one of the reasons I wrote 100 Days of Believing Bigger was to complement that and to provide spiritual recalibration. So if that helps you, you can get that at believebigger.com. But if not, just this moment right here, I want to tell you that you matter, you're worthy, that the dreams that you have are actually calling you and inviting you higher. It is a season to prepare your body for what you're praying for, to prepare your life for what you're praying for, and to step into it, not what if, but as if. I believe in you. If nobody has told you that, I believe in you. The best is within you. And it is an honor to help you to believe bigger in you too. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. And, we had people commenting as you were speaking. We had Nalamyokor saying you were inspiring. We had Andrea commenting, you have inspired so many people this morning. Thanks so much for sharing your positive energy, for sharing your wisdom with us. We appreciate you, and we look forward to having you back on the show. We hope that, we could do a follow-up with you to see what's happening with the triplets, those adorable babies. And guys, look Marshawn up, follow her on social media, follow her journey, support her. That's what we're here for, supporting each other as women, men, as humans. And so this has been a great hour with Marshawn. We enjoyed talking, having this conversation. I think it was a God thing for us to have the technical difficulties earlier. In everything, we give thanks to God, and we are looking forward to seeing you guys back here on Marjy TV tonight. We have two fun guests joining us. We have Jill Littlejohn Bostic, who is going to talk to us about leadership and love. I mean, Jill is amazing. She's worked with the Urban League. She's into diversity, equity, and inclusion. She's worked with she's been part of City Council, done some amazing things in the upstate of South Carolina. And so as a community leader, we are going to hear from Jill. And right after Jill, our 7:30 slot, we're going to hear from Ebenezer Akapo out of Portland, Maine. He is a craftsman and has been designing jewelry, bracelets, earrings. He also designs mugs, so many things. He's designed a bus shelter with African symbols. The guy is amazing. I think people should learn about him. And so we're bringing him on here. We're going to be hearing from Ebenezer. Join us tonight. We look forward to seeing you. This is Marjy, Marj, and Marshawn, and we enjoyed being in your living rooms, workspaces, on your drive. If you're listening on a podcast, thanks to our YouTube viewers, to our Facebook viewers. Follow Marshawn everywhere. Learn about her tricks and her insights and tips and everything. And thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you tonight. From Marshawn and Marjy, we say bye.